your boy, Grown Man Business. And listen, you could tap in or you could tap out. But you know my slogan, you know what I suggest. I suggest you tap in. GNB TV, nigga. Yeah, like, come on, follow me. Let's go. Let's see what we got. Yizzo, you already know what time it is, man. It's your boy, Grown Man Business. And listen, you can tap in or you can tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest, and I suggest you tap in. So let's get right into it. And yes, I know y'all been waiting. So I'm going to just go ahead and say it. You feel me? Empire Death Row Records. Don't that name sound fitting? Look, one more time. Empire Death Row Records, man. Don't that name just roll off your tongue nice and neat when it's talking about Empire Death Row Records? Yes, man, and signing to Empire Death Row Records or doing any business with them is almost like being convicted in real life and sentenced to death row. You know what I'm saying? Like in the back of your head, you already know one day my time is coming. My number is going to get called out. Your time is coming. Your card is going to get pulled when you're dealing with Empire Death Row Records. It just is what it is. You feel what I'm saying? Now, you know, R.I.P. to DRAKO the Ruler. R.I.P. to DRAKO the Ruler, the young king, the young Don. You know what I'm saying? R.I.P. to another Empire Death Row Records artist. It just is what it is, man. Now you already know how we do here at Grown Man Business TV. Multiple different angles. We coming from multiple different angles. So let's just dive in. Let's just dive into this thing. Let's just get it started. Now, DRAKO the Ruler, you know, I'm not going to call him a gang banger or a gang member, but he was definitely active in gang activity, if that makes sense. He was definitely highly active in gang activity, if that makes sense. And, you know, just doing a little research, you know, he just beat a body. You know what I'm saying? Where somebody got murdered. He was accused of setting it up. He was accused of having something to do with it. And he beat the murder. And that right there, along with the gang activity, makes him something I already told y'all about. Something I already titled a high-risk artist. High-risk artist. Now, one thing Empire Death Row Records, they do consistently is they do business with high-risk artists, along with high-profile artists, Young Dolph. You feel what I'm saying? Now, I told y'all a few videos ago that, you know, you got big dogs like Nipsey Hussle. You feel what I'm saying? Young Dolph. You understand what I'm saying? And then in between the big dogs getting hit, you're going to have the high-risk artists filling the cracks. Slim 400. You feel what I'm saying? DRAKO the Ruler, King Von. Now, I'm hearing a lot of people going back and forth, and you know, how did Empire have anything to do with it? How did Empire do this? It was just a random. Nah, again, I like to break these things down so y'all can take the game and y'all can run with it. You understand? It looks like just you know, just out of nowhere, an act of violence, some gang violence, some rap beef. It looks like that to the naked eye. But when you got that third eye opening and you can see through the smoke and mirrors, you understand that a lot of these things are orchestrated. You understand? They sprinkle a bag on, you know, some hitters, or sometimes they sprinkle a bag on a high-risk artist. It's a reason why Empire Death Row is in business with so many high-risk artists. Now, again, I done already gave y'all the layout, but we could, you know, real fast, I'm not going to make this a long one. But, you know, these artists back in the day, the industry was scared of them. Someone like 50 Cent, when he got shot 9 times, Columbia dropped him, got rid of him. They didn't understand then how to sell death all the way through. It was still being tweaked out. You understand what I'm saying? So back in the day, they would run from a high-risk artist. But you got people like Gzzzz and Empire Records running towards the high-risk artist. Why do you think that is? Again, when you have a company and then you add an asset to the company, that asset begins to make money for the company. You can now take out these policies and you can run them up. Especially when you got millions of dollars invested in these high-risk artists. You understand now? You know, I'm proud again. I'm hearing a lot of people coming behind me, you know what I'm saying, using these same angles, and that's okay, because I don't care about breaking the news. I just care about the game getting put out there. So it don't matter to me. So shout out to everybody that's tuning in. Shout out to everybody that's soaking up game. It just is what it is. Now, why would Empire and Gzzzz, because that's who we focused on, why would they, you know, put so much money and investments into these high risk artists? These guys coming straight out of jail. These guys that are highly invested in gang activity. These guys that have bodies, they have enemies. Why would you then turn around and put 1.5 million behind this artist, 2 mil behind this artist? That's because those insurance policies, man, they run them up 30, 20, 40, 50 M's on one artist. And a lot of the time, see, this is what you got to understand. When you dealing with smart big dogs like Nip Hussle or Young Dolph, you got to orchestrate a hit, because these guys are too smart to fall into the traps. These guys done already separated themselves and let you know it's some puppies, then it's some big dogs. They have to get hit. That Young Dolph situation was an orchestrated hit, right? But like I said before, you're going to have a bunch of high risk artists that they not as big as Nipsey Hussle. They not as big as Young Dolph. They not selling as much, but they making a nice amount of money for the company, and they have been highly invested into. And these guys are the ones that's going to bring the guaranteed money, because they're guaranteed to crash out. You understand? So when you say Empire don't have their hand, how did they know? It's because they already expecting a DRAKO the ruler to be killed by an enemy. You understand? By a friend, by gang violence. You understand what I'm saying? And before you get, before you crash out, DRAKO, we're going to go ahead and sign you. We're going to go ahead and show you some love. We're going to go ahead and run up this policy on you and make sure it's paid up. So when somebody just miscellaneously stabs you in the neck, oh, we going to cash out, big dog. Oh, we going to cash out big. And then we going to say R.I.P. DRAKO the ruler. And we going to put you on a shirt. We going to put you on the street. Yeah, we going to make you a meme. We going to make you a hashtag, nigga. And then after that, we going to collect this 40 M's and we going to move on. Because what you got to understand is these other cultures that are running hip hop, they don't care about us. They're capitalists. They don't care about us in the culture. They care about making a dollar off the culture. You feel what I'm saying? Now, again, multiple different angles. And DRAKO the ruler is just, he's just another number when it comes to selling death. Again, I told you back in the day, 50 Cent got shot 9 times. Columbia ran as fast as they could. They stopped answering the phone for 50. Now these high-end execs, these elites, these higher ups, they run towards an artist that seems like he has beef, an artist that seems like somebody wants to kill him, because inside the fine print is a policy. It could be a life insurance policy. They have other names for these policies, and they sign them as high as possible. And then they invest in you, drop $1 million on you. That's probably letting them, that's letting them run up the numbers on that policy even more, because they done invested so much money into you. You understand what I'm saying? And like I said, they back in the day, they was running from high risk artists, and once they figured out how to sell death to black people, once they figured out that once this artist passes away, his music and his revenue and his streams, everything goes up. His album sales go up. His merch, everything goes up. Everything goes up, because when he dies, it causes chaos. And after that chaos comes order. So the order is we gonna get rich. If he was selling $1 million, he gonna sell 10 million once his head get blown off. You understand? And it's about selling death. These artists, most of them are all talking about the same thing: death, gangs, bitches, drugs, activity. You understand what I'm saying? They're selling death to you through the music. They're selling death to you through the death of these artists, through them being crucified in public. And for sure, somebody has to record them after they're dead, laying on the ground, face full of blood. You understand? Because we got to see that as well. The aftermath. We get to see that as well. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm not going to make this a long one because it's not a situation. I done already broke this down for y'all. You know, it's about selling death. And for some reason right now, Empire Death Row Records is at the top of the mountain. Something, you know, something's going to come about this. I'm not sure what's going on. I actually heard that, you know, Gzzzz has a court date or something. I'm not too up on what that is, but we're going to learn soon enough why these artists are being crucified at this high rate. You understand what I'm saying? So you already know what time it is, man. It's your boy, Grown Man Business TV. You can tap in or you can tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest, and I suggest you tap in. I suggest you tap into this grown man business. I suggest you tap into this grown man content at all times. You already know what it is. Straight off the brick into the bottle, straight, pure, raw, uncut, nothing stepped on, no preservatives, no extras. We ain't dressing nothing up and we ain't sugarcoating nothing. We giving it to you straight raw. Straight raw, baby. And you already know, like I said, man, you know, high risk artists. High risk. Back in the day, the industry was scared of them. Back in the day, the industry would not deal with the high risk artists. You had to hide that gang activity. Nowadays, it's flipped around. They done figured out how to sell you to death. They done figured out how to escape the authorities. You know what I'm saying? By orchestrating these hits. You understand? We orchestrate these hits if it's just putting them out there in the world, letting them get itself killed off, letting them crash out. Or if we actually got to drop a couple of dollars on some hitters, let that money sprinkle down and send them hitters at them to get them out of here like Nip Hussle, like Young Dolph. Either way, the higher ups and the elites never get touched. And it's always somebody down here pointing the finger at the gang members and pointing the finger at this and saying, you know, they woo, woo, woo. You understand? Instead of pointing up. Instead of pointing up. You feel me? It just is what it is, man. When you do the research, you will see it's easy. It's easy math. So you already know, man, it's your boy, Grown Man Business. You know, you could tap in or you could tap out, but you know my slogan. You know what I suggest. And I suggest you tap in. Gang.